What's up, YouTube? Today I got some online racing for you in Forza Horizon 4, starting off in A class with the Honda Civic, front wheel drive, trying to keep it interesting for you. I was actually thinking of doing a whole video on front wheel drive cars, so if you guys would like that, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you like this type of content and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you dislike it, you can leave a dislike too. That's all good. I'm open to feedback, and any type of interaction helps the channel grow. It helps the algorithm so that YouTube recommends my videos more often. So anyways, getting into the video, starting off in second place, these front wheel drive cars really have a terrible launch. That is the one major flaw with them. I mean, there's other flaws too, but the major flaw is the launch, because most people in this game are using all-wheel drive, so by the time you catch up to them, in most cases, the race is almost over. But if you did manage to catch up to them early enough, a couple of the other issues you're going to have to deal with is the torque steer. So if you're in the middle of a corner and you go to hit the gas, instead of continuing to turn, the car's just going to want to go straight, because that's just what front-wheel drive cars do. They don't really want to accelerate and turn at the same time, so you kind of have to be very fidgety and very touchy and precise on the gas. And the other issue is that the back end really likes to kick out because there's no weight back there. So normally with a rear-wheel drive car, there's extra weight because you have to transfer that power all the way to the back wheels. But since it's the front wheels that are driving the car, you don't have to do that. So there's less weight in the back. I don't really know how it works, to be honest. So if someone wants to shed some knowledge in the comment section down below, that would be very much appreciated. But anyways, moving on back to the race, still in second place here. The guy in first is driving a Lotus. Now, I know in the Forza games, the Lotuses are touted as being very good. So if I can beat him in a front-wheel drive Honda Civic, I'll be pretty happy with that. I don't really use the Lotuses myself, as I don't really like the way they drive, and I'm not really into those super light cars. But they seem to do well, so that would explain why this guy is in first place. And I go to finally overtake him, and he decides to hit me into the little fencing there and kill my momentum, leaving me with a second place finish in the Honda Civic. So still not too bad. Quite happy that I was able to keep up with the Lotus throughout that whole race. I would have beat him if he didn't cheat. But anyways, moving on. So on to the next race here in B class, in the Pterodyne Gurkha, I believe it's called. The vehicle that The Rock drives in the Fast and Furious movies. So this thing starts off weighing in at about 13,000 pounds, something like that, which, for those who don't know, is extremely heavy. Even that SUV beside me probably only weighs 5,000 or 6,000 pounds stock. So completely insane. This thing probably still weighs about 8,000 pounds after the weight reduction. So pretty crazy there. Probably have like 1,000 horsepower in this thing. So on the first corner here, and the Ford GT70 is going to have a sim twitch and go straight into the wall. So RIP to him. As it is right now, the blue team is getting dominated. So just going to lose my focus there and just go straight into the wall for no reason. So going to make up a position there behind the red guy in 7th place. And he's just going to forget to turn and go straight into the wall. So that's alright with me, going to move up a position. And then he's going to just go straight into the wall again. He doesn't seem to like to turn very much. I'm pretty sure we all have brakes in this game, so not quite sure what's going on with him. So still far down in the pack, in 6th place, 75% done. This thing just doesn't seem to have the power. Catching up to my teammate in the Volkswagen SUV there, but it's just not going to cut it, and I'm going to finish in a miserable 6th place. So moving on to the next race here, hopefully gonna do a little bit better and give you guys some action. That was the plan until I decided to come on the field and just hit this random patch of rocks. I definitely think they were trolling us when they put the rocks in this game. I mean, you can just be driving, minding your own business through an empty field, and all of a sudden hit a rock formation. Have you ever seen an empty field with a rock formation in the middle of it? If you have, then I feel bad for you. So as you can see, just getting completely dominated in this race, missing the same bridge 3 times, and then rolling something like 27 times for possibly the longest roll in Forza Horizon history. Just getting completely destroyed in that race, letting down the Rock by just getting destroyed in his favorite vehicle. So on to the third race with the Gurkha. I'm hoping third time's the charm here. This thing does really well in just off-road trails, so hopefully we're gonna have a good outing this time. Right next to a police officer, and we got a Lancer here, and 2 more guys in front of me. First guy looks like he's in an Aston Martin, and I can't quite tell what the guy in first has, but gaining on him ever so slightly here. So we're gonna manage to pass him on the inside as we approach this sharp corner. So doing pretty well through that section there, considering the sharp corners. And now onto the pavement for this long straight. Gonna take it out wide so that I can try and keep some speed there. So I have a feeling that the guys behind me are gonna completely destroy me on this straight section here. So losing out 1 position. And then gonna lose out to the police officer almost. There he goes. And gonna lose out again. This thing just not having the agility or the straight line speed to compete. Or maybe I just suck. It could very well be that. So locking up the brakes on that corner. Almost able to pass Mr. Police Officer here, but on the straight he's just gonna pull away. I just cannot keep up with them in this 20 million pound safe on wheels. So doing a little bit better, but still not very good in the Gurkha. So moving on. Hopefully we can just forget about all that and let bygones be bygones. That roll was pretty cool. But anyways, moving on to the next race in the S1 Rally Beetle. So kicking things off by hitting an invisible section there on the first corner. Now normally you would just scrape against the wall, but for some reason something was just sticking out there and brought me to a complete stop. So that's one of the frustrations that I find in this game. That happens on way too many spots where you should just scrape the wall, but all of a sudden your car gets caught on something and it brings you to a dead stop. So I might have to go into Karen mode and send them an angry email about that. But anyways, here we are in 3rd place. 2nd place behind the Shelby. As you may have seen, Farmer Dan is making an appearance in this video as I smack into the wall. And there he goes backwards. That's Farmer Dan. He is a local celebrity around these parts. So in 2nd place, once again, the main goal is now to catch the Shelby. Very good car in pretty much any class you put it in. I see a lot of Shelbys actually being used in the B-class rally events. So they're good at rallying for whatever reason. I don't think if anyone owned a Shelby in real life that they would choose to rally it, but that's why we have games like Forza, where you can V8 swap a Warthog and race a Honda Civic with it. So here we are up into the corner, going onto the dirt, and Shelby makes a mistake. He's just barely able to keep 1st place, making another mistake there, and I'm ghosting right through him on the verge of taking 1st place, but he's just managing to hold on. Let's see if I can get him into this corner here. He goes wide, tapping the wall, and I'm just going to go right into him there. We are going to do some grinding as we go into the next corner, and I'm going to fly right through him. Not sure why he slowed down that much, but he definitely lost all his momentum there. So here we are in first place on the last corner, about to start the third lap. This car is definitely a good vehicle for this track. It has no top end whatsoever, but that's why this track is absolutely perfect for it, because we just fly down these little straights, fly through the dirt, and that's it, that's all. So easily taking first place after passing the Shelby. He was gone. Not quite sure what happened. I think he might have given up, or maybe his controller slipped out of his sweaty palms. But anyways, moving on to the next race here. This one is going to be a little bit difficult because it is a free roam rush, and the fact that this car has no top end is definitely going to hurt it. So starting off in second place behind the Subaru. And he's not quite sure where he's going, so I'm easily just going to get into first. No issues there. And already maxing out at 147 miles an hour. You see Farmer Dan go flying right behind me. And this Viper here, attempting to ruin my race, joining the dark side as a rammer. So we're going to see what happens to him a little bit later on in the video. But for now, he's off, flipping into the river. So in third place, up behind the Aventador on my team, just gonna cruise right into the side of him. And now onto the long stretch, just gonna be redlining the whole way there. As you see on the map, the Viper is trying to come back into the fight. Definitely weary about what he's gonna do once he catches up to me, or what he's going to attempt to do, I should say. So here he is. You can see him on the map creeping up behind me as we go off into the field. 80% complete, so he's going to try to ram me off. Not quite going to happen for him, but he's a lot faster, so he's easily going to pass by me. Now, 91% here. We're going to see what happens as we pull up to the finish line here through the water. And he's going to get spun around and bash into a tree. And I take the win. You gotta love a good dose of karma when you see it. Nothing is better than, number one, beating sweaty tryhards in a limo, and number two, seeing rammers get what they deserve. So on to the next race here. We got a 3-lap circuit. So up past our friend in the Viper, he should be awarded a permanent scar on his back bumper from that last race. So here we are in second place, again with the Shelby, giving him a second chance to redeem himself here. Definitely a good little matchup between these two cars. So gonna cut in nice and sharp, and he does the same, which is somewhat surprising, as most people will just go super wide and smack into that wall. So he's actually doing a good job at holding his position here. And he's going to go in really narrow for some reason. Maybe he was going defensive, seeing me in his mirror. So as you can see, a good little battle here, going back and forth. So halfway through the last lap, just barely holding on to first place right now. Through the sharp corner, taking it pretty much perfect. As you can see on the map, he's still pretty close to me, although I've pulled away a little bit. All we have to do is hold it steady on the jump and through the final corner. Hoping this back marker isn't going to slow down and mess me up. I think we're going to be good. And coming across the line to take the win for the second time against the Shelby. That was a pretty good battle once again with some respectful driving. So always nice to see that in Forza instead of people like Viper Guy, who will now have a permanent scar on his back bumper. So on to the next race. We are in the Volkswagen Scirocco, and driving this car is pretty difficult actually because it just feels super stiff, probably from all the downforce on this thing. It just doesn't want to turn. And as you see, coming under this bridge here, a guy in first place just not wanting to let me pass, but also completely forgetting about the corners, as you can see right here. So just braking and letting him do his thing, just knowing that he's going to forget about the corner, and that he does, so allows me to easily get up into first place and take the easy win. So next up we have a pretty sweet car. We have a wide body RX-7. I'm not quite sure what year this is, but it is pre-90s, I'm pretty sure. So rotary engine, S1 class. As you can see, this thing flies and it makes a lot of noise. So up beside this Impala, very interesting car choice for this race, and he's off into Narnia, so see ya, buddy. A bunch of guys actually going to Narnia, as you see on the map. So up easily into first place after the first corner, and this thing just flies. So pulling away really quickly, and actually that's all it takes to get a win, is just do the first corner really well and don't mess up after. So up next, back in the RX-7, hopefully for a good race this time, hopefully some good competition. So after the first corner, still having some people on the track, which is a good sign. We might have some competition here. So up into fourth place, looks like we got the Chevelle in front of us, a Skyline, and I can't quite tell what the guy in first has. So this track, always rainy, always filled with traffic in the wrong spots. So just bashing into the Chevelle there. So giving off some Viper vibes. Definitely don't want to do that. So as I was saying, this track is always filled with traffic in the worst places. So every time you get to an apex, there's most likely going to be a car. I think they ratcheted up the difficulty for this one because it's always nighttime too. Always nighttime, always rainy, always filled with traffic. And as you can see, just barely missing that car. So up to the next corner here. Guy in the wide body Audi way off into Narnia, so see ya. Although we're all teammates, so it doesn't really matter that much, but I'm still going to treat this like a regular race. It's every man for himself at this point. And that Chevelle is hauling ass down the straights, and there you go, see, right on the apex, there's a car. So I'm definitely keeping track of that. So Chevelle looks like he has a lot of speed, but he doesn't have that much handling, although he's still carrying a lot of speed. So good for him in that sense. And there is always a car right in that spot. As soon as you come out of that turn, there's always a car on the right side of the road. So you always either have to slow down and go left, or you have to bail out onto the grass. And just the fact that I can tell you that from memory is bad. So still in second place here at 90%, so going to need him to really mess up in order to get first place here. And there you see a car approaching the apex, and not able to get the win, but it was definitely a good battle. That was definitely some solid racing. So anyways guys, that's all I got for you today. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you disliked it, go ahead and hit the dislike button, that's fine too. Leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe and hit the notification bell for future content. That's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.